In the course of the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I locked in when I was in my early 20s, late teens to become a millionaire. This is the exact protocol that I followed. It's really easy. It's very straightforward to do, and I'm going to explain it. It's going to take me 15 minutes, and if you're the kind of person that cannot watch a 10, 15-minute video without clicking away like a monkey, then there's no point in you even trying to become successful. So just focus for just 50 minutes here and I will change your life and make you rich. Let's go. 2 things you got to do to lock in and get rich. I know, because this is literally what I did. It made me a millionaire. So let's go. So the first thing you got to do is a digital lock-in. Because when I say there's 2 things, you have to lock in digitally and you have to lock in physically. We do digital first because it's the easiest, and then the physical thing I'll explain how to do in a second. You need both. So the first thing you need to do is delete all your apps, okay? So basically, go into your phone and any device you have and remove everything. To contextualize this, here's my phone. Mr. Editor, if you can please flip the screen. So delete everything. Just the thing, you should only have the things that you need, okay? So no X, no Twitter, no, like X is the same thing as Twitter, no TikTok, no Snapchat, no Facebook, no Instagram, God knows what else you have on your phone. Delete it all, okay? Stage 2 is notifications. So turn all of your notifications off, okay? So on WhatsApp, I don't have notifications on. Google Calendar, no notifications. There is nothing, like the only way that my phone can distract me is if I go on Safari and search for YouTube or something. I don't have anything else on my phone that can distract me, okay? Stage 3 is unsubscribe. So what you want to do is you want to go to your email and you want to unsubscribe from every single marketing list that you are on. And, if you have like 50,000 unread emails in your inbox, like some psychopaths do, then just create a new email and update all of your accounts and update everything. And that's basically the fastest way to do it. When you do this, and also clean laptop. So you want to have a nice clean desktop, and I want to show this in a second. And finally, socials, log off. So let me show you a couple of things here. I'm just going to pull up my computer. So here we are inside of my computer. So first of all, what you can see is my desktop is clean, okay? There's nothing on here except from the things that actually this is just some data on myself, and this is just something I'm working on. And then here's this video in progress. Other than that, I have nothing, right? So I have a nice background of ancient Athens. But where it really matters is, the way you configure your Google is really important, and this will help you lock in. So first of all, use Google Chrome. And what you want to do is you want to bookmark all of the things that you need, so you have everything in instant access up here, right? So if I needed to access my sales trackers, then I have all my reps and all of my sales stuff here, right? What you want to do is you want to get this thing called Momentum. So it's an extension called Momentum, and what it does, it's free. When you open a new tab, what happens is it takes you to a picture of some nature with the time. Usually what happens to people, if they open a new tab in Google Chrome, it shows them they're recently visited, then it shows them like an ad or something chaotic. So when you have this, it just shows you a picture of some nature, which means that you're not liable to get distracted by all these things in front of you. Now, second to this, what you can see is on my Instagram, I don't follow anyone. So if I also show you my YouTube, I don't subscribe to anyone, right? I am not following or subscribing to anyone on anything because I don't want to get distracted by people's content, right? Just a caveat, when I was building, I was only subscribed to my mentors, but they don't make YouTube videos anymore, so I'm unsubscribed. But what it would mean is if I opened YouTube, I'd be taken to some sort of educational content that would actually help me towards my goals. So I just wanted to clear that up. Let's move on. The other thing as well is that, yes, I still have like a Facebook account and stuff, but I'm literally not logged into it, right? And the same thing goes with Twitter as well. So if I try to open Twitter, I'm not logged into it. Even if I try and open School, the platform that I use to run my products, I'm not logged into it, right? You're going to notice a theme here. You want to log out of everything. If I go to LinkedIn, let's see, am I logged into LinkedIn? Not logged into it, right? I'm not logged into anything. And what this allows me to do is it means that if I get a weird itch or a weird tendency to procrastinate and check LinkedIn, it means I have to log in, which in the 10 seconds it takes for me to enter my password, I usually am like, this is stupid, why am I on LinkedIn? Now, same thing is true for another thing you want to get on your laptop called Undistracted. Okay, so this is a Chrome extension called Undistracted, and what it allows you to do is it allows you to hide things. So on YouTube, for example, everything's hidden. So if I go to YouTube and I go to my recommended section, I can't see anything. So there's nothing. Even if I try and look at the comments on a video, let's say that I go to one of my recent videos, and I click on a recent video, and I come down here, I can't scroll down. There's no comments, right? There's nothing on the side. And this makes YouTube an actual tool that you can use because there's no distractions. It means that you have to search to find what you want. It works incredibly well. And it does this for Instagram, LinkedIn, Netflix, Reddit, Twitter, all these things. You can hide things. So if I go on Facebook, there is no newsfeed. If I go on Facebook, there are no stories. If I go on Facebook, there's no marketplace, there's no chat, no one can message me, no one can contact me. Digital lock-in, it works really well. Now the other thing you want to get is ad blocker. So just get an ad blocker and pay for it if you have to, because that's another distraction just waiting to happen. And then this is a huge one, shorts blocker. So on YouTube, just so I have belt and suspenders here, I also have a digital app called Shorts Blocker, which blocks YouTube Shorts. So, in the unlikely event that I turn on my YouTube recommendations and it shows me YouTube Shorts, I don't want to see YouTube Shorts. So, I don't have it. And this is something people don't understand. Like, millionaires and successful business people like myself, we're not that disciplined. Like, we're not actually these beacons and gods of monk-like discipline that you'd expect. We just engineer our environment so that these things can't get us, because I can't watch YouTube Shorts anywhere. I don't have it on my phone. I've blocked it on my laptops. There's no way for me to even see it. And if you can't see it, then it's not going to get you. So that's the digital lock-in. Okay? So you want to do all those things, get all those apps, remove everything that you can, turn off your notifications, unsubscribe, and that's the first thing to do. Now, the second thing is we need to do this physically, okay? We need to do a physical lock-in. And this basically revolves around anything that isn't on a screen, okay? And there's a few steps to this. So first of all, goal. Decide what you actually want and then make a plan. So, there's no point in just locking in if you don't know what you're locking in for, because locking is a pretty painful endeavor. It kind of hurts. It kind of sucks, right? So he who has a why can bear anyhow, almost anyhow. So Nietzsche quote. So you need to know why you're doing what you're doing. So what do you actually want and why do you want it? I want to make 10K a month. Why? It's like, because I want money. Why? Because I want to buy a car. Why? Because I want status. Why? Because I didn't have a girlfriend when I was 9, right? You need to find why you actually want this thing. But then what you need to do is you need to create a plan. So what are you actually going to do during this period of locking in? You need to know, am I making cold calls? Am I building websites? Or probably not a good idea to build a website first off the rip. But what are you actually going to do during this period? You need to know what your day is going to look like, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Next thing, if you have the heart to do this, which I would recommend you do, tell friends and family. So you tell them, maybe not all of your family members, because you might want to keep, your mum close, your dad close. I still do, for example, when I do a lock-in. Tell people, everyone you know, who messages you, like, hey man, hey woman, hey person, what I'm going to do for the next, 6 months or 3 months, 90 days, 60 days, whatever it is, I'm really going to be locking in and focusing on trying to build this company. I'm probably not going to be as available to message or talk. I just want you to know that I still love you, but I just need to do this, and I hope you understand. People that are like, no, you can't do that. You have to message me. Just get rid of them. They're not good people. You don't want them in your life. But the cool thing about this is when you tell everyone, when you say to everyone, like, hey man, I'm gonna like lock the hell in for like 3 months. Well, now they're gonna hold you to it, and now it feels weird if you don't do it because you've told people. The next stage is, if you can, move. So you don't have to move out, but if you can, go and get an Airbnb in rural Serbia for 3 months, right? Maybe, I don't know what rural Serbia is like. It's probably actually quite beautiful, to be honest. But my point is this: find a weird, obscure location that is relatively cheap, has good internet, and first world facilities. And I don't know if they have them in Serbia, but I've heard it's a pretty cool country. And we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. It's going to log in. Find a place, move to the place, and then that way you don't know anyone, and you can kind of do this little weird reinvention where no one can distract you. There's nothing to get you, and you can just work and work and work. This is something that I did when I had to lock in and get my agency to 100K a month. I moved to Plymouth in the UK. Anyone that's been to Plymouth, it does leave quite a lot to be desired. It's not the most gracious place on the planet to live. But I lived in Plymouth, and I rented this flat for like £400-500 a month. And I spent basically like 5 months there, just completely focused. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any friends down there, so I didn't get distracted by anything. And I just worked, and it was a really great thing. It got me to like, that 50-100K a month mark pretty much in no time at all. Okay. Now, next thing is say no. Okay. So once you've decided to lock in, well, actually, we'll make a little caveat here. Let's call this point 2.35. Decide on the time frame. So something you need to understand is that you cannot sustain locking in forever. It is a 90-day, 180-day affair. If you try to go beyond that, you're going to turn into some sort of psychopath, okay? Because whether you like it or not, in the long term, you need social connection, you need downtime, you need relaxation, you need some level of balance. And so you want to decide on the time frame of which you're going to lock in. I've tried to do this for a year, and it makes you weird. It turns you into this like autistic like person where you suddenly forget how to like communicate with people. It's not healthy. So I would recommend, if you're doing this for the first time, to do it for 90 days. And I would, if you've got a little bit more experience with the monk mode thing, then 180. But really, 90 is where you want to start. And then basically, after you've decided that in step 2.35, you want to say no to everything, okay? And what this entails is, over the course of the time frame that which you have dedicated this lock-in period to, anytime anyone invites you anywhere or asks you to do anything, you say no. I did this recently where I locked in sort of last year, and I was locked in for like 4 months because I was building I'm building a program, and I will not tell you any details about it because it's a very big secret. But I got maybe like 5 or 6 people message me who I know, kind of friendly, and they asked me to do like podcasts with them, and they've asked me to like come on and do like some speaking on stage and stuff, and I was like, nope. Would it be good for the brand and the business? Yeah, probably would be, right? I'd get some more viewers. But the point is that you make these sacrifices. You pick one thing, like a course build or a product build, like I'm doing right now, and trust me, it rips your soul out of your heart when all you do is build a course for 6 months. I've done it for a year before. It's not pretty, but say no to everything. Anything that isn't the thing you're doing, say no to, okay? And that's basically that. So any of you that want to get me on a podcast, it ain't happening right now, I'm afraid. Now, the next thing is draft a routine. So the only way to sustain behavior is to routinize it, or like habitualize it, which basically means to make it repeatable. And so what we're going to do now is just spend the next couple of minutes talking about how to actually draft a routine, because what you don't want to do is lock in and then just have no idea what the hell you're doing, because you have biological and psychological needs that must be met. So what you want to do, and this is still a step 2, but we'll just call this a routine. So what you want to do is you want to list out all the hours in the day, and what we're going to do is, first thing you want to plot with your routine is your sleep. So you want to get at least 8 hours. I know it's tempting to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger back at me and say, oh, but you can sleep 5 hours a night. Yeah, all right, if you're training to be a Navy SEAL or you're some crazy person, then sure, but you're probably just a normal average person who has biological limitations, right? So what you want to do is you want to map your sleep, okay? And so basically you want to put in when you want to go to sleep, when you want to wake up. So what I like to do is I like to leave a 1 hour margin. So I will gun for 8 hours sleep, but I will give myself 9 hours so that I have at least an hour to fall asleep, which guarantees that I get 8 hours. So typically if I'm locking in, what I will do is I will go to sleep, I will go to bed at 10, and then, between the hours of 11 and 7, I'm basically asleep, right? Which gives me 9 hours. And sometimes I'll wake up a little earlier, but, you get the point. Now, what you then decide is, the next things you need to decide is basically, when do you eat? So we do the sleep thing first, okay? And we make sure we lock that in. Then we decide when we're going to eat, and then we decide when we're going to exercise. Because there are a few things that you don't want to sacrifice, and that is your body, right? So when are you going to eat? So for example, me, I will eat at 1 p.m. and I will eat again at usually 7 p.m. So I eat twice a day, and I eat carnivore, so I don't really eat any bad foods. And this is the other thing to locking in as well, is you need to decide, what are you going to eat? So ideally what you want to try and do is just eat the same thing every day. So find like a set of meals that, you're going to get bored of this, it's going to suck, but find a set of meals that sustain you and have everything you need, and just eat the same thing every single day. Like when I locked in before I had a little bit more knowledge on diet, like what I would do is I would eat every day. I ate, when I was getting to like that sort of 100K a month mark from zero, I would eat a big bowl of oatmeal at like 1 p.m. with a protein shake, and with almond butter and yogurt. God, I remember it. That was a dark time, but I ate that every day for like nearly 6 months. And then in the evening, I would eat this massive bowl of spaghetti bolognese with broccoli. And that sustained me for a considerable amount of time. And I would eat like, I managed to get like, 2,700, 3,000 calories in between those 2 meals. But yeah, that just sorted it. And then that way, during your lock-in period, you don't have to think about what you're buying. You don't have to think about like what you're eating. It's consistent. And then also your exercise. So when are you going to exercise? And also what kind of exercise are you going to do? And for me, I would have done this in the morning when I was locking in. And then what this does is it basically leaves all the other time available for work. But you also want to schedule in a little bit of relaxation, which I would just do after I ate, okay? So my relaxation time would be after I've eaten, when I finish work, and I would literally just, I can't remember what I did to relax. Now I think about it, what did I do? I didn't do much relaxing. Probably like video games or something, but I would advise against that. It's a mistake. Just like, can you see if you can read or like watch a movie or just chill out, right? Now, then, between the hours that you now have available where you're not attending to your biological imperatives, this is where work happens. And this is basically where you're just simply executing on your plan. But you want to map out your routine, and you want to schedule it, and you want to, map out your biology, because when you schedule your biological efforts, like your sleep, your exercise, your eating, your body starts to fall into tune, and it starts to fall into a rhythm, and it knows when to spike hormones. And this is important because, what happens is if your body knows that you're going to be eating at 1 p.m. every day, then it will spike hormones like ghrelin at a certain time, like it's a hunger hormone. And you won't be hungry at like 9 a.m. begging to eat after like a week of doing this. Same thing if your body knows it goes to sleep at the same time every day, then it spikes melatonin at around like 9 p.m. before 10 p.m. And it will also know to spike cortisol at like, 6 a.m. right before you wake up at 7. And so it also knows to spike testosterone at the time you go to the gym. There's intricate biological stuff that I don't know when it comes to like routine, but I do know that if you schedule your biology and your body, you fall into this rhythm, this pattern, and then it gets really easy to fall into deep work because, you're not fighting hunger hormones, you're not fighting sleep hormones, you're not fighting stress hormones, and you're not fighting recovery hormones. It's just, you can just work and focus in that sense. So that's basically how to lock in. Do it. It'll make you millions of dollars, and that's how I did it. Bye-bye.